Before I start this week's video, I need to give a shout out to my pal Russell from Russell's Garage. Russell and Stag Recovery had a bit of an issue getting parts for their vehicles, so we bailed them out for the Mull Rally by lending them the hybrid. And Russell's sent me a care package here of all sorts of garage chemicals. So thanks Russell, you need to check out Russell's Garage, it's up near Inverness. Top guy, thanks Russell. Holiday over, we're just leaving Mull, if we get on this ferry, because it's looking pretty packed. Got Land Rover jobs to do when we get home. The windscreen's got a crack in it. The water pump's squealing like anything. The hinge on the door on Mo's side is pins gone on it, so we need to change the hinge over. And what else was there, Mo? Definitely a fourth thing. And the fourth thing was the radio. The radio case is fallen to bits as the motorsport radio. So we'll get home and we'll get started. There should be a water pump waiting for us when we get there. Well, if you're wondering why the hybrid isn't coming home with us, Russell's taking that up to Inverness and that'll be reunited with us in a couple of weeks' time at the Kinloss Rally. Day after, made it home from Mull. Got a box of bits there, which includes a water pump and some gaskets. That's the old water pump in there. And wait till I start this up and you can hear the racket. I know it makes a racket because it's a TDI, but the water pump racket. I think we'll make a wee bit of room. I'll take this intercooler hose off. And then I'll get the belt off, which is always the most dangerous part of the operation. Taking the tension off of this thing. I think I've got a belt, so I'll probably just swap it. Right, that's off. I'm going to lose a bit of coolant with this job, but I've got a drip tray underneath, but no doubt nothing will land in it. I'm going to remove the heater bypass. I think it's a bypass hose. Well, it's a heater hose anyway, just to improve access. One of the reasons you can do your head gasket on a 300 TDI is if you let the water run a little bit too low, because the water pump and the thermostat housing are really high up. They're above the top of the engine really, and you don't have to let your water level run too low before there's nothing to pump. So it's a very good idea to keep on top of your coolant level on a 300 TDI. If I'd been smart, I would have tried to crack these with a belt on, but I suspect even with a belt on they're pretty tight. I don't think they would have shifted, so put a bar in. Oh. These might be a struggle. This could be one of these jobs where, yeah, 10 minutes to take the ring apart and then another hour to do the last couple of bolts around the water pump here. That first one's rounded off, won't take a 10. Second one, yeah, that's turning. It took a hell of a lot of pressure to get it cracked off, and you can see what I'm dealing with here. You've got bone dry, it's steel, threaded into aluminium, there's water in there, and big risk of snapping these. Yes, I know, I should take the tensioner off to get to the bottom bolts on this, but good chance to check it. There's a little bit of play in that, but I've got a brand new tensioner here, still in the bag, and it's got the identical amount of play. I also found a water pump, so I've got a brand new water pump, so I've now got a spare one. This one I'm just working back and forwards and putting some WD-40 in it. just to make sure I don't snap it. Yes, I think it's, oh no, it's getting tight again. If I can get this one out, we're home and dry. Two of them were slightly rounded, so I managed to bang a 3/8 spanner onto them and get them out that way. But this is coming now. At this point of the day, Fraser realised that he's never actually changed a water pump on a 300 TDI before. 200s, yes, V8s, yes, but no. So I'm now having to take the power steering pump pulley off. In reality, I think if I'd taken the fan off and the fan shroud before I started, I would have had loads of room in there. But we'll crack on with triple jointed fingers, wrists and elbows. That was a bit of a pig, but a bit of heat applied to one of the bolts on the power steering pump and they all came off. I've got the long bolts out the bottom. I'll show you all the bolts came out in pretty good shape. That's the 3 long ones from the bottom. In theory, little tap from Thor and he's off. So you can definitely feel the tightness and the bearing there. I don't know if you can hear it. If I compare it to the brand new pump, total silence and the same resistance all the way around. That went together beautifully. Just that one with a bracket. Freddie's come to help. And Russell's always commenting that Mo is always dotting about in the back of my videos because she's always up to something. Where are you today, Mo?
Painting. I don't. Painting.
Painting a door. I'm using a rubber boa constrictor strap here just so I can get these 3 bolts nipped up without the pulley turning. Same for the top pulley here, just using this strap wrench while I nip it up. I don't even know if you can still buy these things, it may be a bit of a fad. I've had this for decades. It's called a boa constrictor. Managed to find a new belt in the spares, so that'll go on. I just need to put the old idler pulley back on now, which is dead simple. It's just a single bolt that holds that on straight through the middle. Now, it can sometimes be a wee bit of a fiddle getting this serpentine belt around a fan, especially a new one, because it wants to kind of stay folded. But once I've threaded it through, it will appear on the other side. And we can just loop it on. With that on, the old one's carefully repackaged and it'll go in the back in case we have an emergency situation and need a swap out. It's hard to tell, but it's starting to get a little bit dark out here now and cold, so I've got everything nipped up. And that's the sound deadening back on. So I'm going to take the plastic cover off of here, chuck some coolant in and we'll give it a quick run up and then I'll check it again in the morning. While that's coming up to temperature, I need to find a door hinge and my treasure trove of no comment, and body parts are here. Series door locks, something. Aha! That's a top because it's got the thing for the wing mirrors in it. That's a bottom. Thankfully it's the non-rusty one, although they're both new. So I'll give this a quick clean up, chuck some matte or satin spray paint on it, and then we'll set about getting the old one off. Welcome to my spray booth. Coat hanger, wire coat hanger. I don't think the plastic ones work so well. self-etch primer. This stuff is about £4 out of Aldi or Lidl, and it's as good as anything. Right, back to the whirring noise I was getting. It actually got worse today, and then when I was running the engine up, I noticed that the charge light was on, stopped it, smoke coming out the back of the alternator. So I've yanked the alternator off, which is why my hands are mucky. The brushes, the commutator seem okay, but again, you know, I've removed that. How do you test that? I can't. But what I can test, and quite crudely, is whether the bearings are okay, because obviously I was getting a lot of noise coming from something. So this is the alternator I've just removed here. Yep, a little bit on the noisy side. And this is an old alternator that I pulled out the shed. Big difference, huge difference. I'm not even sure what that's off, because it has got a smaller cog on it than this one. But it's actually a genuine Land Rover one. So we swapped the alternators, and actually getting the belt on was a hell of a lot easier with a slightly smaller cog. Everything's running fine. I've got zero whine, and the charge light is off. Now, to get to that problem, I changed the water pump, which was a little bit worn anyway. I ended up changing the idler tensioner pulley because I had one, and I've now swapped the alternator back to an old alternator that I don't know the history. It's a genuine Land Rover one. It's 100 amps, it'll do. I don't know why you took it off. I don't even know what vehicle it came off. I maybe got it as a spare or something. So unfortunately, the Britpart alternator had a 2-year warranty, and I've had it about 2 years and about 3 months before the bearings went to bits in it and it started smoking. And then the door hinge, I can't get the bolts out now. Julian, who built this Land Rover, did an excellent job of fitting stainless steel fittings to everything. But these ones, I've got them turning with the aid of an impact hammer, but they're turning the captive nuts inside the bulkhead, so that's going to involve some violence to get them off. That's tomorrow's job.